the GAB Talks by the Independent Press Award. I'm your hostess, Gabby Olzak. Today, we will be speaking with Shelly Frome, author of Shadow of the Gypsy, a 2023 Independent Press Award distinguished favorite in cross-genre. In addition to numerous works of fiction and nonfiction, Shelly is a professor of dramatic arts emeritus at the University of Connecticut. He's also a former professional actor and has penned more than 25 plays. Shelly is a film columnist for Southern Writers magazine. He's a frequent contributor of articles, writers' blogs, and websites, both in the US and UK, and covers all facets of acting and creative writing. His nonfiction books include The Actor's Studio and The Art and Craft of Screenwriting and Playwriting, a complete guide to creating theater. Shelly's works of fiction include Twilight of the Drifter, Lilac Moon, Tinseltown Riff, Murder Run, The Secluded Village Murders, Miranda and the D-Day Caper, and Moon Games. Shelly joins us from Black Mountain, North Carolina. Congratulations, Shelly, and welcome to the GAB.
Okay, I still haven't developed a Southern accent. I'm working on it.
I was wondering about that. It doesn't sound like you're from North Carolina. Boy, I bet it's real beautiful down there.
Yeah, it is. But I learned three things. One was, you're fine, that's fine, and it's all good.
It's all good.
And you have to hold all for 3 beats. Otherwise, they know you're not from around here.
And when you go in for lunch, do you order yourself some sweet tea?
Yes.
There you go. There you would not be Southern if you didn't know about sweet tea.
Yeah, it's a requisite.
Absolutely. Oh, that sounds fantastic. And have you lived there long, all your life?
No, 8 years.
8 years. Okay. Wow. I want to hear a little bit more about you. You have such an interesting life. First of all, let's get to Shadow of a Gypsy. It's won multiple awards across several genres. It's a dark mystery with a true crime vibe. What's the plot?
What's the plot?
Entice us.
Okay. I've been working with this problem psychologically since I was 3 years old. I was supposed to take my father's place, and I didn't know what they were talking about. So this has been haunting me all this time. And then I finally decided this is some kind of IOU, and I can't do my own life because that would just be a trash wallow. And it wouldn't come alive, and I would just be self-conscious. And I always like the work to take off by itself, so it'll be surprised, I guess. A famous playwright told me that he writes to discover something really significant that he didn't know that he knew, which I think is kind of interesting. So I then translated this whole thing, I transcribed it or reinvented it. And I started here in Black Mountain because, what am I doing here? And then imaginatively I said, okay, I'm hiding out. And then imaginatively, I thought, instead of what this person told me when I was a little kid, I decided that I had an IOU that I didn't really know about or I was trying to forget about. And then that turned into a nemesis that's out there. And for some reason, I don't know where these characters come from. They just come out of the blue, and all of a sudden my nemesis turned out to be Zharko, the Russian gypsy.
Right, the gypsy, right?
And he is the one that's after me because he's got some caper he's going to pull up and way back in, in Waterbury, Connecticut. So that's how this whole thing got started. And I was just wondering, what was I doing? What is this character doing? And I changed my name too because I figured that's what he would do. And is this making any sense? Are you following?
Yeah, you're actually answering about 5 questions in one. So the inspiration.
And I wanted to have a love interest, and I wanted him to get back. And he, Molly, and he was just hoping against hope that Zharko had disappeared, gone back to Russia or Bucharest or wherever he was from. And then, what did he change his name to? Josh. He changed his name to Josh.
So the main character is Josh, who has been on the run for most of his life from this dark figure, Zharko, the gypsy.
Right, and his mother, because his mother was a gypsy, because Josh's real name is Sonny, and he has a gypsy name, so he wanted to erase all of that. And then this is supposed to be a place, the U.S., where you recreate yourself, right? Isn't that what it's supposed to be neat about living in the United States?
Absolutely. Immigrants come here every day and reinvent themselves. That's exactly.
Yeah. So he thought he would reinvent himself, and he would be writing for this newspaper and stuff like that, and then go
Right.
back to Mali, and then he just lived this wonderful idyllic life. And lo and behold, what happens?
Don't give it all away, Shelly. We have to. We
Won't
want
give it
people
away. Okay, then lo
Don't give
and
it away.
behold, what happens?
Don't tell us what happened. So you were inspired by real life to write this book.
Yeah, I was. I just had this psychic energy, and I didn't know what to do with it all these years, and this just started to come to me.
The main
I can't explain it any other way. That's what happened.
Perfect. That's perfect. The main character, Josh, what is so interesting and unique about him?
I think the fact that he is repressed, and he's trying to hide everything, and what's really there, it's like the Hobbit. It's like Bilbo Baggins, whatever his name is, doesn't want to go out into the world, and
right.
And Josh doesn't want to go out in the world, and there is this strain, this mythic strain, the hero's journey. And I thought the hero's journey really is to go out there and face something. And Josh has never faced anything. Underneath all this became the mythic hero's journey. Can you follow that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thread that would tie this whole thing together.
Right. He had a nice, it seems, idyllic, quiet life. And then he was really, it seemed, drawn out of that to protect his love interest, Molly, and his mom.
Right.
Yeah,
but he didn't really have a nice idyllic life. He sort of had a nice fake idyllic life.
Right. He thought he had an idyllic life, but it was all make believe because he really isn't.
Yeah, and he thought this is a great place to hide because it's over almost 900 miles away from where he grew up in Connecticut in the Litchfield Hills. So,
Shelly, as we mentioned in your intro, you're a mystery writer, a playwright, and a former actor. So how you gave us a little glimpse into it, but how did your younger years growing up, how did that affect who you became, all of these incredible things?
I had to create everything I did because I didn't have a father and my mother was never around. So everything I did since I was a little kid was creative, and I was always reading comic books. And I started out in Massachusetts, and all of a sudden my mother ships me and my sister off to Miami, and I'd never been there before. So now I have to create a whole other life. Then I would start doing things like just being in elementary school was kind of boring. So I said, why don't we have a newspaper? So I created a newspaper. Then in junior high, I said, why don't we put on plays? I always wanted to create something because it was out of nothing. Can you follow that?
Absolutely. That is what we do. And some people do it better than others. And you're certainly one.
And some people don't do it at all.
Most people don't. Yeah.
No, they just play it safe. They just say, my daddy done this and my grandmother, and it would just stay here. And I know there's been another hurricane and tornado, but we'll rebuild. I will never leave because I don't know what's out there if I do something else.
But you ventured out there. So why did you choose the mystery genre?
Well, because when I was in plays, there was always something going on. And then in a lot of literary works, there isn't anything really going on. It sort of develops and it goes off here and it goes there. There really isn't anything at stake. Can you follow that?
Yes.
The simple word here is drama.
Drama.
That's what gives me an adrenaline rush. That's what gave me an adrenaline rush when I was on stage, that there's something happening, there's something at stake. Or as Julie Harris told me, I was interviewing her. Do you remember her?
I don't.
The actress.
I
Did you
do.
ever see East of Eden with James
Oh,
Dean?
East of Eden. Yes, of course. That's Julie Harris.
And the girl in it, the love interest, that's Julie Harris.
Got it. Okay.
So when I interviewed her, she said, "Well, if it isn't about life and death, I don't want to do it. It's all got to be a matter of life and death." And I just remember all these things.
And what do you enjoy most about mystery writing?
The fact that something's going on, and I don't know what's going to happen myself. Because if I know what's happening myself, then I've lost it. So I think it was Robert Frost who said that if there's no excitement in the writer, then there's no excitement in the reader. Something, I'm paraphrasing what he said.
So, well, that sounds about right. So when you're writing a mystery then, Shelly, so are you telling me then that you don't know what's going to happen until you're writing it?
I know I've got a framework because my late wife used to be a choreographer, and the kind of choreography I like is when there's just a framework, then you have to do an improv in between, and that's how, you remember the choreographer Paul Taylor? Do you remember him? Did you ever run into him in New York?
I did not, no.
Well, anyway, that's how he worked, and that's how Daniel Nagrin worked, who I interviewed when in New York, and they all worked this way. So, if you follow what I'm saying, you got a framework, so you aren't just babbling and just
of course
writing
you're not babbling,
but
what I mean is when your process of writing, when you're writing a mystery, of course you have a framework. But as you're going along this process and the characters are developing, I would imagine that a lot of it changes in between the beginning and the end from what you might.
Right. I don't know what's going to happen. I did one play. It was in New York City, and I was somewhere on the Lower East Side or somewhere, and then this guy came by, and he had a ripped sweatshirt or something, and he said, "Hey, I'm Johnny Diamonds." And then this girl appeared about 11 years old, and she says, "And I'm Angie. I hang out with Johnny. I've known him since I was a bump." And all of a sudden, Angie, then in my imagination, she said, "And you need me for this book you're writing, this mystery, because without me, this character who knows from nothing isn't gonna get through this. So you need me in this book." And then so there she was, and she stayed, and she's still there.
Wow. So you have definitely been inspired by people and things along the way. Have you ever gone on any literary pilgrimages that inspired you to write any of your books, Shelly?
Yeah, because the place is very important to me. Because I went to Mississippi once, so friends invited us, and out of that place, out of Mississippi, this novel started to appear. And
Which
I remember
one?
I was, and it's called Twilight of the Drifter. And I remember going somewhere in the Delta, and I was doing research, and I don't know, I ran into this lady somewhere. I don't know where it was, by a cotton mill or something. And I said, "I'm doing research on the Civil War." And she said, "You mean the War of Yankee aggression, don't you? The War of Yankee aggression." I said, "Yes, ma'am. The sun just fried my brain. I don't know what happened to me. That's exactly what I meant to say." So that influenced this book.
Wow.
Things that I discovered, things that happened, stuff like that. So the place is very important to me because it becomes another character. And I have to know the place. And if I don't know the place, then I'm stuck.
What's your favorite mystery that you've written?
I don't have a favorite.
Oh, come on. Everyone has a favorite, even though we don't admit it. You can tell us, Shelly.
The favorite is the one I'm working on right now.
Ah, okay. Spoken like a true writer. That's
what a great lead.
that is a great lead. And so I'll bite. What are you working on now, Shelly?
Okay, so I call it Fast Times Big City.
Ooh.
And I wanted to go back to New York because I was lost, and I'd never been there for Miami, and everything. That's when I ran into Joan Rivers and all of these characters. I didn't know what in the world was going on, and I thought it'd be And somehow in the back of my mind, I wanted to recreate it and to be older and to be sharper and really have something to say. So it isn't just this starving actor, banging into stuff and bopping into stuff. And it, because if you asked me then, how did it go? I wouldn't know what to tell you. I said, well, I did this and then I did that. And then I had a walk-on in a show called Naked City. Then I was in this off-Broadway play. And so it's, it's and this, and this, and this, and there's no story.
Right.
Because you can't have a story with, well, then Gabby got up in the morning and then she had breakfast.
Right. There's no excitement.
And then she went out. Then she saw Ted. And Ted said, I'll see you later. And we're already falling asleep, aren't we?
I wouldn't buy that book, Shelly. Tell me about your book. No. So this character then was loosely or inspired by you when you were acting in New York City, when you left Miami to act in New York City.
I'm inspired by the pulse of the place. The New York that I knew was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't afford to live in a cold water flat. In Greenwich Village right now. You can't afford to be a starving actor.
No, you can't.
You can't even say, I think I'll go to Elaine's at 2:00 in the morning and just hang out and see who's there, because you might get shot or you might get run over or something will happen. The whole idyllic place is gone. So I wanted to recreate that because it isn't there anymore.
That sounds like an incredible book. So obviously it's a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery, and it's also a love story. And it was a place where you used to go to find yourself, and it was a place where writers hung out in Greenwich Village, and Norman Mailer was hanging around, and there were all these characters, and there's all this creativity going along. It was sort of like a little village. That's what it was like.
Yeah, a little writer's village
in the late 50s.
A little haven. Wow, that's a book I would definitely love to read. Now, when is that going to be published?
And it won't be published till February because I just signed the contract.
Okay, so you're literally in the throes of writing.
I have to go through this whole process of working with editors and stuff like that, and maybe changing this, and there's something called marketing.
Oh,
I think it's called real life. And
yes,
you have to market it, and golly. So you have to go through all that.
Wow, that I'm looking forward to that. I really, really am. So obviously all of your books have been influenced by your life, your travels, your experiences, and people you've met along the way.
Yes, and characters that have come out of my imagination that are influenced by the fact that all my characters are actable. And when I'm writing, they come alive, and they have a certain rhythm, and they have things that they're hiding and things that they're repressing. And that just fascinates me.
Well, that will lead me into my next question. If you had the opportunity, Shelly, which of your books would you make into a movie?
You have to have an agent, then you have to go through development, and it takes a long time. And
we're talking about fantasy here. Which one would you think would make the greatest screenplay or the greatest play for the masses to see?
I think Shadow of the Gypsy would make a great movie.
Well, what elements
you got all these different characters. And you got Tony from Waterbury and the docks, and you got Zharko and his buddy from Budapest, and you got this nice guy by the name of Josh who just seems like Tom Hanks, and you've got this combination of settings. You go from here to there to there to there. So I think that would be kind of neat, but that would just be a dream.
A dream, yeah. We're talking about dreams.
Just ask Ted to produce it, and we'll be all set.
He hasn't gotten into that genre yet, but you never know. So, Shelly, who's your favorite mystery author? Because writers read. So, who do you enjoy, and did you borrow or learn anything from them?
I mean, that's a funny question. I mean, I sort of read mysteries here and there, but I don't want to upset you, but I haven't read anybody that's as lively as I am. So I was influenced by Ernest Hemingway and people like that.
Okay, that he's one of my favorite authors, so I get that. So okay, you don't. I didn't say you have to read mysteries, but so was Hemingway an influence in your writing style?
Yeah, well, I just love the sort of like zingers. He would say
Yeah.
things like, "That which is true at first light will turn into a lie by high noon."
Hmm.
Da-dum, dum. I mean,
Mhm.
and what is it? The world breaks everybody, and some are strong in the broken places. It just cuts through everything for me, anyway.
A lot of good. Are there any lines that you're particularly proud of, or you like to talk about from your books? Any zingers that you've come up with?
Not off the top of my head. I'm always surprised when these characters say things, and wow, that was neat. Where did that come from? So I'm not. I mean, I never knew what Zharko was going to say, and the way he talks and everything,
Well, that's probably
and
why your books are so appealing, is because you didn't plan out or plot out every single thing that was going to happen. So that your elements of surprise is your surprise too, not only to the reader but to you.
because all of a sudden Zharko said to his buddy Vlad, who says something in Russian, and he said, "In English, Vlad, I even dream in English now. So I sound like Yankee," and that just struck me as, wow, that's neat, because I don't have to translate it either. He is talking and struggling with English, and he's sort of menacing and funny at the same time.
Yeah, your characters definitely have depth, and they're all different and all really interesting. So for new authors out there who might be delving into the mystery genre, what do you think are the most important elements of a good mystery, Shelley?
I think it's called the hook. That something happens. It's not just another day. This is not just another day. This is a day. There's sort of a tenuous imbalance going on, and then all of a sudden Ted doesn't appear. He's usually there for breakfast time, right? And he isn't
Mhm.
there.
Elements of surprise.
Yeah, it's the elements. There's a tension. There's an element of surprise, and it all seems to be self-generating. It doesn't seem like it was written. It isn't. It isn't formulaic. It isn't worked out according to a certain rhythm or something. And it seems to be happening, and you want to go along with this trip to see what's going to happen, because there's something at stake, and then it proliferates, and then things happen, and it's surprising. I don't know, it's a simple word, but that's what
Yeah,
happens.
it is a simple word, but you know what? It's Captain Obvious. It's make sure there are plenty of surprises. You've had quite an interesting life. What's one of the most important lessons you've learned that you'd like to share with us about your craft, about you're a playwright? Tell us about that.
Well, I think it's important. I know this may sound silly, but probably we only go around once, and to try things, to explore things, to learn things, to keep open all the time, to keep open to experience, I think is important, rather than finding a niche, than sticking to that.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that's fantastic advice, and yeah, that is a lesson to be learned. So, Shelley, you shared a lot with us. You're so interesting. You've met a ton of interesting people. What's something that folks would be surprised to know about you?
Well, I don't know if it's surprising, but after my wife suddenly passed away, my son dropped his little puppy off, and he's with me now. So my buddy right now is Baxter, who's a
Baxter.
golden noodle.
I saw a
And
picture of Baxter on your website. He's adorable.
so I don't know. There's something kind of sweet, something kind of Walt Disney,
I
Walt
love it.
Disney about my life right now.
I'm glad to hear it.
Me and the doggy, and then I also go to. My wife was a Unitarian, and I also attend the Unitarian Church. I'm not a member but I also go to the Unitarian Church. And Garrison Keillor once said that Unitarianism is 20 minutes of unanswerable questions followed by a 2-hour coffee break. That's the religion.
That's really funny, actually. That's really funny.
So in a way, there's something homey about me, I guess, which might be surprising.
It might be surprising to some people. I mean, they hear you're an actor, playwright, mystery writer, and homey might not be the first adjective that comes to mind.
Right.
So that is indeed a surprise.
Probably not.
That's
the only thing I could think of.
No, that's perfect. So, Shelly, how can folks learn more about you, about all the different books that you've published and written, and purchase your books and learn about your plays? How can they find out?
Well, they can find out about me by going to Amazon and just putting my name down under books. And I also have a website, and I have a lady from England who runs my website. I mean, when I have problems, and I have a column on Facebook. So on my website, it's just shellyfrome.com.
Okay, perfect.
And she keeps that going, and then I send her pictures of Baxter, and she sort of hawks things on Facebook, and I can't explain it, but I just sort of keep myself out there.
That's good. That's lots of social media to do that. Lots of promoting. And like you said, lots of marketing. Okay. So Shadow of a Gypsy.
I'm really lousy at it, but I'm trying.
You're doing a great job. Shadow of a Gypsy, great book. And again, remind us the title of the book you're working on so we can keep an eye out for it.
Well, that's nice. It's called Fast Times, Big City.
Fast Times, Big City. And you said hopefully the pub date will be sometime in February.
It'll be at the beginning of February.
Okay, so folks have to look out for that. Shelly, it was really a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for joining the GAB Talks.
Great. Well, thanks for being nice.
How can I help it? You're a wonderful man. Thanks.
I don't know. Ted said you would be nice.
I'm always nice, but especially to you, Shelly. It was really a pleasure.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you so much. And don't forget to let us know when the book is published. We're looking forward to it. You have a great day.
You too. Thanks for calling. No, I called. Thanks for answering. So much. Thanks for answering.
Thank you, Shelly. And for all our readers out there, this is Gabby Olzak of the GAB Talks. Until we meet again, keep on reading. Thank you.